Hey guys, this is Jim, KN4YCD, and you're watching FEP Labs Radio. Thanks for stopping by. Today we have an antenna. Now this is a Tram Model 1410 pre-tuned scanner base antenna, which I have already partially assembled. This antenna is what's called a discone style, D-I-S-C-O-N-E, because this is a disc and that's a cone. This antenna runs, I think, about $60 or $80. I'll put a link in the description below. I bought this, I believe, from Amazon or Gigaparts or somebody. This antenna is available everywhere. This is not, cutting edge technology. This is shown as a scanner antenna. However, you can also use it to transmit on. These are designed to be very, very, very wide banded antennas. This particular antenna covers from about 25 megahertz up to 1.3 gigahertz, 2500 to 1300 megahertz. So it's not really good for HF bands. It would be okay on 10 meters, 11 meters, but that's about it for the lower frequencies for the amateur HF bands. The antenna has 3 dB of gain, and it's rated for 200 watts transmit power. Yes, I said transmit power. This antenna can be used to transmit on 2 meters, 1.25 meters, 70 centimeters, 900 megahertz, and 1200 megahertz, up to 200 watts. So it comes with some amount of gain. Now, I have, as I said, partially assembled this thing. It's way too big for the camera and in the shop to set all this thing together. But I do want to show how this works. So the radials come pre-assembled in a bag, and this is what one of the radials looks like. These have screw threads and a nut to secure it, a rubber safety cap on the end so you don't poke your eye out. And then they just screw in to the actual unit itself, and then you would tighten up those nuts to hold the actual elements in. Then we have on the bottom where we put in the longer elements, which are over here off camera a little bit, and you can see why I can't put this together in here because we don't have nearly enough room for that. The bottom is an N connector. I believe that's an N connector. That's kind of odd. That may be an SO239, the way they've designed it. And so this sits on top of the mast pipe itself, and then there's 2 set screws in there to fasten it together. Let me see what that says. Yeah, that is an SO239. It's just weird looking the way they've got it in here, the kind of connector that is. But that is an SO239 connector, so you'd use a standard PL259 on it. Some of these antennas come with N connectors, and it looked a little bit like an N connector, but according to the specs, that is UHF female SO239. So you'd put a PL259 in there. And we can test that because I have in my hand a PL259 to BNC I was using for something else. Yep. That's it. That screws right down in there. So obviously this is going to sit on top of your mast, and then your coax is going to have to come up through the center of the mast in some way. I'm going to be pulling down a ADS-B antenna that I have that I haven't been monitoring ADS-B, and theoretically this should receive ADS-B as well since it covers up to 1300 megahertz. So I'll be replacing that antenna on the mast with this. These can be used theoretically, I understand, for satellite reception, although as they don't tilt, the reception pattern is only going to pick up birds within a certain azimuth and elevation. You will not be able to track the bird across its entire flight path. So you're not going to be able to listen to every satellite on it. As it's a 2 meter, 440, 70 centimeter antenna, that kind of thing, you can also use it as a 2 meter rig, which is, it's going to probably do double or triple duty out here in the shop. You can use it as a scanner antenna because that's really what it's designed for. What's interesting is on the only piece of paper that came with the antenna, they have a parts list and basic instructions, but they don't really give you the specs, so I had to go to the website to look those up. It comes with all the radials that you see here, this whole stack. It comes with a Allen key to fasten the radials in, and that's it. Not much else to it. So I'm going to get this thing installed and up on the mast, and then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll hook it up to the Rig Expert and take a look and sweep the various bands and see what that looks like. Okay, so I've got the antenna hooked up and I am in AntScope. This is free software from Rig Expert to drive the Rig Expert on the screen. And I've looked at this already, but I want to share it with everybody. So we're going to first sweep the 2 meter band and look at our SWR. The antenna is about 20 feet up on a mast above the roof of my shop. Now keep in mind, this documentation says this is good for 2 meters. Wow, that's pretty terrible. Okay, so let's go look at 440. All right, let's sweep the 70 centimeter range. And that looks, so far, that looks moderately better than 2 meters. It ain't great, and it's getting more and more ungreat. And then coming back down toward the end of the band. So if we look at the ham part of 70 centimeters, it's not super good. This is 3 right here. And as you can see, we're above 3 for a lot of the 70 centimeter band. Okay, let's jump to the 220 band. I missed that earlier, and that's not marked on here. So we'll just kind of fake it. And we'll sweep from 210 to about, we'll sweep from 200 to 250. I can't remember specifically where the 220 band is at, but let's see what it looks like. And that's pretty horrid. It started at 3 and it's gone up from there. And I'll update the screen where the 220 band actually is. I think the 220 band is down here between 220 and 224, something like that. And as you can see, it's above 3. So that's absolutely horrible. This antenna should be able to be used in the 900, 800 megahertz band, which our local channels run about 850 to 870. So let's zoom in on those ranges. So there's 840 to 872 from the left side of the screen to the right side. Let's take a sweep. Below 3, below 2. This 856 to 860 is where the local P25 system runs at. So below 2 SWR there looks great. And almost the whole entire range is below 3 to 1 at least. Okay. And let's take a peek at 1.2 or the 23 centimeter band. Let's see what it looks like on there. So that's looking great. Below 2. In a few spots, it's barely above 1. Okay. 1.26 to 1.27. We're above 2, and now we're back below 2. So pieces of that band have excellent SWR. That's great. Okay. So that's our SWR sweeps, and I can kind of get this where you can see everything. There's 2 meters up here, and it sucks. Here's the 220 band, and it sucks a little less. 440 is, the low edge of 440 is at least below 2, but not the entire band. As a matter of fact, most of the band. Here's our 800 megahertz band below 3. And then the 1.2 gigahertz or 23 centimeter band is peaks just slightly above 2, about 2.1, 2.2 it looks like here. So this antenna is up about 20 feet on a mast with, at the current moment, 100 feet of RG213. I didn't have a shorter piece that would reach, and what I'll probably do is end up cutting a custom piece to fit it. The cable run itself probably is no more than 40 feet from all the way at the top of the mast down and then across to where it comes into the shop here. So I'll cut a custom piece of coax that will take out about 60 feet of cable, and we'll see how that works with it. So in any case, that's all I've got on this video, guys. If you would give me a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Channel membership thing is in the doodly-doo below, and make sure you ring the bell so you're notified whenever I post any new videos. Guys, thanks for watching. 73.